frustrating, annoying, patronizing, condescending, exciting, underwhelming, a little bit interesting, pompous, florid, pretentious, masturbatory. Golden Hill by Francis Spofford is one of those novels that I had been anticipating quite a lot. It's a novel that had stood on my shelves for quite a long time before I ventured to actually pick it up and read it. And when I started reading it, I wasn't really sure what to make of it. It had very clearly and very overtly from the very opening lines of the book, it was very clear to me that the writing style was going to be difficult. It was a very difficult, very pompous, florid, like Baroque writing style that was firstly very confusing, but ultimately and most importantly, it didn't really serve a purpose for me, at least for me as a reader. It didn't really serve a purpose. Maybe the author was in a very condescending, narcissistic kind of way, maybe, but he was trying to convey all the research that probably went into this book, but also maybe he was trying to invest the reader and sort of involve you in this ambiance, in this environment, in this atmosphere. So maybe he was going for an atmospheric kind of writing style, something that I really enjoy. I really love it when authors such as Daphne du Maurier or Michel Faber or certain authors that have a particular writing style that really make you feel the tone of the book and also the setting and become a part of that setting and of that environment, uh, which is atmospheric writing, and I really love that. But here I just thought maybe that's what he was going for, but the result for me, and this is something that I want to stress out, for me personally, it came off as incredibly pretentious and super super annoying and pretentious in all the for all the wrong reasons and in all the wrong ways. I don't mind pretentious writing here and there, a little bit of it when it is indicated, but here, I just hate it. I hated the writing because even though it is so elaborate and so lush and rich and it's overwhelming, and you can tell that the author is really trying to make you notice how cleverly this is written, and maybe it is, but I cannot stand authors who do that so explicitly and so much in your face. Another big problem that I had with Golden Hill by Francis Bufford was that I, I was left completely cold by the experience, even though I was somewhat interested in the plot and in finding out the story of this character. Basically, I haven't told you what the book is about. The book is about this mysterious character called Richard Smith, referred to as Mr. Smith, who comes to New York from London, and he is waiting for this amount of money, and no one really knows what's his deal. No one really no one reads him, and as a reader you are trying to understand who this guy is and what he's doing there. And I thought that was a very interesting premise, and I was genuinely very interested at first for the first 100 and 150 pages, but then it became a complete sleep fest, and I was completely cold. I did not care about him or about any other character. The plot was kind of exciting, or at least the author really tried to make the plot engaging and exciting and riveting and fast paced in certain moments, but I never felt it was genuinely good, and I never thought it worked for a single bit. Even though I was engaged, I felt tricked I felt cheated, honestly. There are certain passages in this book that I was just like waiting for them to be over. There's a part in which there is an action scene pretty much involving a chase through a rooftop, or yeah, from well, it's a scene in a rooftop or a chase scene, and it pretty much reads like a very fast-paced action scene, and it was so boring. I just wanted to finish that chapter and be done with it. There's another passage in which the author there's this card game that the characters are playing, and the author starts explaining the rules of the card game, and I was like, please God, kill me now. This is the right time to be struck by lightning. I wanted to kill myself. There were parts of the book that just were very engaging and very interesting, but everything was killed by the writing style and how confusing it was. And ultimately, I was very dissatisfied with the book. I did not care about it. I thought it was a soulless book, very patronizing and very condescending. And yeah, I really, really disliked the tone and the voice in this book. And it actually reminded me a lot of another book that I read last year, which was the winner of the Man Booker Prize previously, A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James, which pretty much gave me the same feeling of, oh man, just please shut up. Let's get to the point and just, just shut up. That's pretty much how I felt, and I was very annoyed with this, but also with this. I will say that I preferred Golden Hill over A Brief History of Seven Killings, just because this started out mildly interesting, and it was not all terrible, but I still gave it 2 stars, and it's not a book that I would recommend. I know that a lot of people recommend it and a lot of people rave about it. In that case, go and check out their reviews, because they have very good reasons for enjoying and loving the book even, but I certainly do not recommend it. Actually, if you are looking for a historical fiction that is well written and well researched and well thought out without being pretentious and condescending and without making you feel stupid like a stupid child when you read it, I would actually recommend The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis, which is a great plot-driven novel with interesting characters, with beautiful settings, gruesome things going on. It's much more interesting. In my opinion, it's much better delivered as a story, and just in general, it's a much better book. I would not suggest that you even bother with Golden Hill. I know this is very harsh for me to say. I am usually not a very harsh reader or a harsh judge when it comes to BookTube, but this just made me feel so angry and so annoyed is the word, annoyed, that I just had to put this review out there. So if you have read Golden Hill, and regardless of whether you loved it or hated it, let me know in the comments down below.